In every generation, because our worship sort of orally and through education is passed on, some of this worship we can deprioritize them. Some of this worship we can deprioritize them. And the ibadat which is of action, if you don't know the knowledge behind it, you may begin to also deprioritize them and make mistakes therein and have shortcomings. So in this generation, there are some ibadat which we as a generation, we are neglecting and have shortcomings towards those worships. We spoke good last 20 plus days, whenever we were here, regarding one of those worship, which was doing khatam of the Quran. We started the Quran doing khatam of it. It's one of the most neglected worship within this generation. If you study our Sahaba's life and Tabi'in, Atba'i Tabi'in's life, and even the generations afterwards, you find that they used to complete the Quran recitation. The max was reported authentically was 3 times a day. Then you had the second group, they finished the Quran khatam wise every 3 days. Then you had, which is the bulk of the ummah, they used to finish the Quran every 7 days. That was the routine, 4 times a month. That's why they were so strong. So strong. They had so many, they had 4 wives, they had many children, they had multiple houses in multiple places. They had multiple wealth in multiple places. They were roaming around the world from here to there in a very, they used to travel more than us. We think we travel a lot nowadays. No, they used to travel more than us. So they were very strong believing men and women. And the last was they used to finish the Quran every month. No one passed a month except the Quran was completed. So that we need to revive. That ibadah, one of the neglected ibadah, we need to revive within the Muslim ummah of simply reciting the Quran and completing it every month. We need to get there. We need to be within that category. We can't be beyond that, which the vast majority of the ummah are. We need to be within completing the Quran every month. The second neglected ibadah, and today's just my nasiha today, is speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, conversing with Him. Now the difference between the first and this is that the first you're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His speech. Through His speech you're conversing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you yearn for, even wish for, and even beyond your wishing, you cannot even imagine, it's beyond the imagination, He bestows it upon you simply because you're speaking to Him Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala through His kalam. The second category is you speaking with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the kalam, through the speech that He has taught you. Allam al-bayan. He taught human beings how to speak. Now the greatest speech you can have is with your Rabb Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is with your Creator. And if you look at the Quran, it's filled with the prophets and the righteous speaking to Allah directly, communicating with Him directly. In so much so that they had certainty that if they made a dua which was unimaginable, their dua will be answered. They are sort of guarantee the dua will be answered because they knew who they were talking to and he had control of everything. I'll give you some example. Adam alayhi salam, for example, and Hawa alayhi salam, when they made dua, the famous dua, and they began to repeat it, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا, Oh Allah, we have oppressed ourselves. They could have said, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا فَاغْفِرْ لَنَا, Oh Allah, we have oppressed ourselves, so forgive us. But they did not say that. He said, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا. Now this is the speech, this is the conversation they're having now. وَإِن لَمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا. If you, conversing, it's not dua anymore. They're talking to Allah. If you do not forgive, meaning you have the right to forgive and you have the right not to forgive. وَتَرْحَمْنَا. If you don't show mercy to us, so you have the right to have show mercy, you have also right not to show mercy. It's up to you. لَنَكُونَنَا مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. We'll be amongst the eternal losers in the sight of you ultimately. Now they could have said, well, we have oppressed ourselves, forgive us. And we'll be amongst the khasirin if you don't forgive us. But they did not. They were speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, conversing with Him. And not only that, they were affirming that He has the right to forgive, not to forgive. To show mercy, not to show mercy. That one dua, it was summarized how they were feeling. And did they give up with their Rabb? Did they say, okay, if you don't forgive us, if you don't have shown mercy on us, we're not going to ask you again to forgive us. We're not going to ask you again to have shown mercy to us. No. They were blaming themselves. Meaning, I still have a defect. I still have my shortcomings and weaknesses. In order for me not to be worthy of your forgiveness and deserving of your mercy. They're still blaming themselves. I will be amongst the khasirin. Allahu Akbar. The good thought they had of Allah, the perfect, majestic thought they had of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is amazing. So that's Adam and Hawa, our father and our mother. Let me give you the example of Musa alayhi salam. We all know in Surah Taha, we recited, the Imams, our Huffaz, recited beautifully. Musa alayhi salam, when he saw the fire and he was speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala questioned him. What is that you have in your right hand? قال هي عصاي أتوكل عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى. He gave a long answer, which is he was trying to prolong the conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the staff I have. I do this with it, I do that with it, I lean against it. He made a long conversation. When Allah then said to him, throw your stick. Alqiha ya Musa. And throw it a bit far. Don't throw it close by. Throw it a bit far. Alqiha ya Musa. And it became, that's his staff, which he was with that staff for 10 years. Good enough 10 years. He threw that staff, Musa alayhi salam. It turned into a moving, huge snake. He became scared and he ran away. He fled from the mount. So Allah said, don't run. He even fled with his shoes. He fled barefooted basically. Even he left his shoes. That's how scared he was. So Allah said, don't be scared, come back. Yeah, Allah speaking to him. Allah speaking to Musa. Musa speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah commanded him. قَالَ خُذْهَا وَلَا تَخَفْ. Allah instructed him, grab it. وَلَا تَخَفْ. Now a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to tell you another secret. 1K brothers, 1K everyone, yeah? Another secret. خُذْهَا وَلَا تَخَفْ. When Musa wanted to grab, he was scared of what? The snake. Yes, he was not scared of the stick, but the stick he had it with him. He was scared of the snake. Allah wanted to get rid of the fear of what? The snake from his heart. So Allah said, grab it. Grab the stick or grab the snake? Grab the snake, not the stick. Got you. Grab the snake. خُذْهَا. That's why that's the وَلَا تَخَفْ. Don't be scared. So he was scared of the snake. Allah is getting rid of the fear. Speaking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah commanded him. Why did now Musa go and grab the snake? Why? Because all of this time he was speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all along. He knew exactly who he was speaking to. So when Allah said, Malik al-Mulk, who says kun fayakun, changes everything. He knows this. Musa knows. Allah said, grab the snake. He gathered all of his strength together and resolved together and grabbed the snake. Then Allah says, Sanu'iduha, I will return it. He didn't say when though. He didn't say when the snake will become what? A stick again. Sanu'iduha sirataha al-ula. I will make it to come back to what it was before. But I didn't say when. Musa grabbed the stick, held it together until he had no fear of the snake. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala returned it back to the staff. When he had no fear of the snake, Allah got rid of the fear of the creation from him. Beasts, animals, jinns, human beings, not to be scared of. The point I'm trying to make here, most important point here, is he was not scared to speak with Allah. Imagine, front of the mouth, there's no one, top of the mouth, no one there, cold. That's what the fire was there. It's cold. Freezing. And speaking to Allah, Allah is saying, take your shoes off. Innaka bil wadi al-muqaddasi tuwa. You are in a sacred valley. Innani an Allah. I am Allah. Allah speaking to him. He should look around, run. Am I going insane? Am I going crazy? No, but he didn't. He was more scared of the staff that turned into a snake, which he had the staff for 10 years, than Allah, the King of all kings, the creator of everything, the miraculous existent being, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hayyul Qayyum, speaking to him. He was not scared of that. Why not? Because he was speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for good 40 years. It's a conversation that you have with your own language. That language Allah has given you is for you to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone with Him. Okay, let me finish with one more example. There's so many examples I can give, but time is short. I'll give one example. The famous dua in Laylatul Qadr, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Okay, I'm not going to explain the dua. I'm going to explain that dua in a few days' time, inshallah. But I want to focus on just one point. You could have said, they could have been revealed to you to say, Allahumma innaka afuwun fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuwun fa'fu anni. Oh Allah, you are forgiving. Afu means forgiving in every sense and protecting you from sins. It's past, present and future. Protects you completely. You could have said, oh Allah, you are forgiving, forgive me. But I didn't say that. You said in the middle of something. Allah revealed it to you. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa. You're speaking now. Here you are saying, oh Allah, even if you don't like me, even if you don't like my sins and my shortcomings and all of this, forget me. I'm not in the picture here. You love forgiving. That's your essence. That's who you are. You love forgiving. So because of that is your character, that is your attribute, that is your essence, that is who you are, that is what you represent, include me in that forgiveness. Here you are being very humble, showing your humility, which is our realities. It's not our being humble, it's our reality. We don't deserve forgiving some of the internal and external sins that we commit. If Allah's justice was to establish, none of us would have been forgiven so easily. So in the middle, you are speaking to Allah. You are saying, Tuhibbul afwa. You love forgiving. And here notice, you don't say, Tuhibbul afu. Allahu Akbar. It's amazing. You don't say, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afu. You say, Tuhibbul afwa with alif lam. Allahu Akbar. I mean, if you understand Arabic language, it's amazing. Tuhibbul afwa. You love forgiving, meaning anyone who comes through the door of forgiveness, even if they are at the edge of the door of forgiveness, even if they are crawling, even if they are on their knees, as long as there's an ounce of forgiveness they want, you love to forgive. You are represented by the attribute of afu. In other words, in practical reality, if the whole creation of merciful beings was to gather together and they were to forgive the worst of people that they can imagine, it will not go close to the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. And that's why Allah shows that. After He says, intercede, the Quran intercedes, the prophets intercede, every one of us intercede, the believers, the angels intercede. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He then says, I am going to take out from Jahannam whomsoever I will. And He takes out aqwaman, nations from Jahannam and puts them into Jannah because He simply wants it. That's it. Allahu Akbar. So in that dua, you are also conversing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my message to you, speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your own language. Firstly from your heart, and then with your tongue, and bond with Him. And you will see that by reciting the Quran and bonding with Him, and by then speaking and bonding with Him, you will begin to actualize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a real being in real time. And He is the creator, He is the sustainer, and most importantly, you are with everything and everyone returning back to Him. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.